What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Existential Stoic Podcast. Do you have a hard time getting stuff done? Do you struggle to sort of achieve your goals or to create the life you want? Well, today you're in luck because the quick fix, we're going to talk about how to get things done. It's going to be a short episode with some tips we're each going to offer. I'm Danny. I'm here with my buddy Randy. What's up, Randy?
Yo, Danny.
Yeah, why do you think obviously getting things done is important, but what do you think is important about this topic in general, I guess, for this quick fix?
I think there's an important distinction because a lot of people keep busy, but they don't actually get stuff done. Like I notice this a lot at the co-working place that I go to. A lot of people are busy. Like they're there 8, 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
sometimes 16 hours a day, and they're busy, but they're not actually getting stuff done. They're busy like browsing Facebook, updating their LinkedIn profile, checking email,
Yeah.
checking email again, checking email again, checking their phone. And it's like they're not getting anything done. I think it's important to get things done because success comes from getting stuff done. If you can't be productive, then you can't be
Yeah.
successful.
And I think what you're saying there too is like that focus too, that where you just actually are getting things accomplished and knocked out, not being distracted, which is crucial. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we're going to help everybody out then today because we have some tips to help them get things done. I'm going to start. It's my week. My first one is it's something we've mentioned like a million times, but it's write down your goals. We talked about this before. Scientists have found it's like you're 40% more likely to actually achieve things if you write them down, which is like the simplest and easiest thing in the world to do. And we talked about this a lot. It's true. Like if you do it, you'll also find out that they just get done. Once you write it down, it's like you're committing to it, especially after you've done it a long time. But I added to this also, which is make to-do lists. And so write down your goals and then start immediately thinking about how can I realize these goals? And start writing a list about what would I need to do? So if your goal is to change careers, well, what do I need to do to get that career? Do I need to pursue a certificate? Do I need types of skill training? What do I need? And then start knocking those things out one at a time, and you'll start to see your goal become a reality and not just be a dream.
That is a great one. Writing it down is so important. And I second what you say on literally as soon as you write stuff down, it happens. Like it
Yeah,
surprises me all the time how this
I know.
stuff just happens. You write it down and then it's like done way sooner than you ever thought it would happen, but it's just some magic in writing it down. And the
Yeah,
crazy thing is, only 3% of people have like a written plan for their life. And they are
it's
leaps and
great.
bounds ahead of everybody else. And it's like, if you want to be one of the top 3%, all you got to do is take a pencil and paper and just write it down. It's simple.
And it's funny. It's like I think when people hear that, they get afraid. Like, oh, they have a whole 40-year plan and written down of what they're going to do every day. And I don't think that's necessary. I think you just have to have some direction, so that you're not just wandering in the woods, but you're actually walking down a path. I think there is a distinction.
Yeah. It's like, what do you want? Write it down.
Yeah, do
Simple.
it.
Simple. So I'm going to my first one is actually a little bit more on what you were saying. So you said make a
Good.
to-do list. I
Yeah.
would actually like to tweak that a little bit. Say make
Ooh,
a to get done list, because
like that.
this for me was a big distinction between a to-do list and a to get done list, because the to get done list actually had the deliverables at the end. Like to do
Oh.
was these kind of like theoretical things like taxes or these
Yeah.
broad categories, and it was this thing that was out there that I didn't really want to do because it was like whatever.
Yeah.
But once I changed it to a to get done list, I started looking at what are the deliverables, so that the end things that need to be done, what are those? Let me write those down so I can figure out whatever steps are necessary to get there and do that.
I like that too because it kind of makes a distinction between what you were saying before, like the to-do list that's occupied mostly by busy work or BS, like laundry and this and that. It's like stuff you got to do anyway, and but you feel accomplished because you check things off rather than an actual productive list of this is my goal. These are the things I need to accomplish. So I like that. That's a good addition. Yeah, I think that's smart.
Mhm.
Having those deliverables built in. Um, my next one's a little different. It's something you've mentioned, I think, before, but bookend your day with routine that boosts self-reflection and a positive attitude. And what I mean by this, and we've talked about this before, is have a routine in the morning and at night. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 10, 20 minutes that incorporates things we said, the small delights. So journaling down positive things that happened that day or that, you experienced that day. Meditation. It could be writing down your goals each day in the morning. and then, just keep doing that so that you get a clearer and clearer sense of what your goals are and the direction that you're trying to proceed. Any of these types of activities. It could be even reading something that's positive for 10 minutes, autobiographies, a book that's related to what you're trying to do, whatever skill you're trying to develop, something like that. But just doing that in the beginning and the end of the day, because I think it makes your day more intentional. You take control of your day, of your progress. And I think there's something very empowering about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. And also those times of the day are like times that are going to happen every day that you can
Yeah.
make sure it happens. Because if you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to do this, after I get home from work or after I'm done checking
Okay.
my
Yeah.
email or whatever, then it never gets done. So yeah, that's a good one. And the crazy thing is, if you want to know how to get more done, if you want to know how to get more done in a day, take an hour and meditate and exercise. It's like it's crazy counterintuitive because you're like, but I don't have that time to do that. How could I possibly fit in an hour of meditation and exercise? And it's like if you do those two things, they will give you such clarity in your life and such energy that you'll be able to get done way more stuff than anything you were doing before.
Yeah, it's funny when you do physical activity like that too, because it's like you get the ball rolling and then you don't want to stop because you feel
Mm-hmm.
good and you're just like, it's going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So my next one for how to get things done is focus. And I'm not saying focus in the way that you're thinking focus. I'm saying focus as an acronym for follow one course until successful.
I
I
like
think
that.
people are so spread out in what they're trying to do that they never really accomplish anything. And if you instead focus on one thing and get it done, then you can focus on the next thing and get it done. And then the next
Yeah.
thing and get it done. And it's the total opposite of multitasking, but it's how you actually get work done.
Yeah.
Multitasking, you just do a whole bunch of stuff really poorly and never get anything done.
Yeah. And never get good at it. I like that
Mm-hmm.
one too, because I think that that's something that I think more probably everyone struggles with. I know I struggle with it and still do sometimes, which is like it's hard to sometimes know exactly which direction you need to go in to actually make these things happen that you want. Or you start out and you think of something you want, but you get overwhelmed because you're like, I gotta do that. Instead of just saying like I could start here and get this done, and then I'm a percentage of the way there already. And the rest of it will be clearer because I've already gotten something done. And I think we forget that focus is so important. That's a good one. I like that. Um, my last one is, something we all know, but just do it, right? I think you need to take the leap. I think you need to just get it done. If you want to get things done, you have to start. You have to take action and you have to do things. So just do it.
Did you just come up with that saying? That's kind of catchy.
Right? I know. I heard it
Well,
somewhere. I can't remember where I heard it though. Somebody's
that's a
slogan.
great point because the only time you ever have is right now. And
Yeah.
so many people regret things that they didn't do in the past. And like, sure, it was better to do it back then, but the second best time is now. And then
Yeah.
also like these things that you want to do, if you don't start now, if you're putting it off till tomorrow, guess what? Tomorrow never comes. So like tomorrow's
Yeah.
always tomorrow out there sometime later.
It's funny. It's like I knew so many people when I was in grad school that were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna work hard and I'll travel when I'm retired." And it's like, one, you don't know if you're gonna make it to that age. Two,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be the same because you're going to be older and you might have problems with mobility and stuff. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. So do it now. Now is the best time. Yeah.
Truth. And my last one is prioritize. And this is something we've talked
Yeah.
about before, but it's very important. And there's many different ways to prioritize, but I always like to look at it like, if I could only get one thing done today, what would it be? And then that's the thing that I work on first. And then I'm like, oh, well, maybe if I can get 3 things done today, what's that? And then all the other things that really aren't that important, just don't do them. They'll get done anyways if they need to get done, but focus on the important stuff and really like knock that out because most of the time that's the stuff we avoid because it hurts. And
it's hard.
If you can, I keep on finding the crazy thing is that if you just sit down and put like 5 minutes into it, somehow it ends up getting done.
Yeah.
It's just that first 5 minutes that's so uncomfortable and painful. Nobody wants to do it.
You just don't feel like starting. You find a million different reasons, right, to put it off. But as soon as you're done, it's like, oh, it's done. It's easy. It's fun. I enjoy it, and you're good. And it's over, and you feel better when it's done.
Oh, totally.
It's like, yeah, that's such a good one. I think it's like that's probably one of the most important ones is prioritization because I think that's what so many of us lack And it's something that I still like, I think we all struggle with throughout our lives. It's not something you just like magically become perfect at. But yeah, so that's it for everybody. Now you know how to get things done. Get out there and do it. This has been a quick fix. We'll be back later this week with a full length episode. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Share it with your friends. Do all that stuff. And until next week, though, later, Andy.
Later, Danny.